What's up, my wizards? It's Dev from Strictly Better MTG. I'm back again to tell you exactly what's going to happen in Dragons of Tarkir. Now, this prediction is going to be based on an article that Mark Rosewater wrote in December for Wizards.com, as well as a look into Khans of Tarkir lore and a cycle of elder dragons from way back in Magic's past. Well, I'm going to start off with a few quotes from Mr. Rosewater himself from this article, written in December of last year, so pretty recent. First, he says, "The block structure will only work if there is a substantial difference between sets 1 and sets 3. That's Khans and Dragons in this case. He also said if set 3 wasn't enough of a departure from set 1, it would undercut the premise of the entire story. So, what does he mean by that? Basically, of course, it's going to play and feel much different from Khans, which is a wedge set. And he actually points that out. Another important quote is he says, Khans of Tarkir is a wedge set. Dragons of Tarkir is a, well, not a wedge set, complete with ellipses and all. So he then goes on to just go ahead and spill a little bit more information, and I think this one of the more important parts of the entire article to focus on. He says that there are a lot of hints woven into Fate Reforge's design, and that Khans is a wedge set with 5 factions. 5. Dragons will be a censored set with 5 factions. It actually says the word censored in the article, but you can tell it means that it's supposed to be a different word. So, what is that censored word? 5 factions, but not a wedge set. So, what's the obvious conclusion? And I think a lot of people had wanted this for a while. It gives them an excuse to print the enemy-colored fetch lands in the next set. It gives them an excuse to print Nicol Bolas, who is supposed to be in the storyline so far, and he's traditionally in Grixis colors. Now, that probably means the next set is going to be shards instead of wedge. That is, allied colors instead of enemy-colored shards, or 3-color combinations. So, he says the clans are connected in an as-yet undisclosed way, and then he goes on to call them connected clans a couple of times. Now, for flavor reasons, and Wizards really cares about flavor reasons, I could really see each clan dropping a color and picking up an allied color. Dropping an enemy, picking up an ally. There's a lot of things that you can do with this. Abzan could become Bant. Mardu could become Jund or Naya. The list goes on, and it would be really cool, and you could do a lot of really fun and interesting to write and read storyline things with that. Like Jeskai could become Grixis and sort of drop its more peaceful aspect and pick up the more evil aspect. And we have seen black ninjas and monks and stuff like that before in Kamigawa blocks, so it's not entirely unheard of, and I think that'd be really cool if Jeskai became Grixis. And there's a lot of interesting combinations here. Rosewater also said, a little bit more evidence, that the abilities are supposed to play nicely with each other. Now, we've seen all 5 Khans abilities, obviously, and 2 abilities from Dragons of Tarkir, and those are Bolster and Dash, and we know that they fit in with at least 2 of those factions' mechanics. Dash feels like a Naya ability to me, and Bolster feels like a Bant ability. Bant traditionally cares about protection and defense and things like that. So I could totally see these different things fitting in to shards instead of wedges and play very well with each other. Ferocious is a mechanic that seems like it would play particularly nicely with Jund. Right? Pretty obvious. So, yeah. What have we got here so far? He straight up says, Rosewater does, that it's not going to be a wedge set, but there's going to be 5 clans. I keep coming back to that. And again, for story reasons, if you're not familiar with the story up to this point, here it is very quickly. Sarkhan Vol goes back 1,000 years into the past to change the outcome of dramatic, fateful battle between Ugin and Nicol Bolas. The original result of this battle was that all the dragons on this plane were eradicated from existence, so one can only assume that if the outcome is changed, that dragons will exist again in the world of Khans of Tarkir. Meaning, I mean, it makes sense, the set is called Dragons of Tarkir. Now, what dragons? I think I might be able to call what dragons, but this is probably the wildest bit of speculation that I'll make in this little video here, but I'm going to go ahead and try and call it. Nicol Bolas is part of a cycle of legendary elder dragons from Legends way back in, I think, 1995 or 6, something like that. I think 95. And the other dragons in this cycle were Palladium Moors, Chromium, Vivectus Asmati, and Arcades Sabbath. And they represented allied color shards, oddly enough, way before those were even a thing. Bant and Naya and Jund and Esper and the rest. The other ones. Grixis, sorry. So, yeah, I think that in a set called Dragons of Tarkir it would be entirely possible if Wizards reprinted or another incarnation of these elder dragons. Now, Mark Rosewater said in this same article that they've done a lot of market research, and dragons are by far the most popular creature type. So, it makes a lot of sense for newer and older fans alike that they would reprint, finally, we've been asking for it for a while, new iterations of these legendary elder dragons. It's a good excuse for that. Said it's called Dragons of Tarkir, you know? So, I'm fairly confident that that's what's going to happen, for design and narrative reasons. Now, I don't know if I can call that the Elder Dragons are going to be in the set, but I will say it's almost certainly going to be a shard color, friendly colored set. So, for a while there, I had a theory that maybe this set would be a 4-color set, because Mark Rosewater says, and I'll leave you, I think this is the last quote from Rosewater. He said, "I want to keep Dragons of Tarkir as much of a secret as possible because I want it to be new and exciting." Now, of course, this sounds sort of like the babble that they give you when every set comes out. I want it to be new and exciting. And in this time, I think that he actually means it. I don't think this is just corporate speak. I think he does want it to be new. And shards and wedges together in the same set is something that's never been done before. Then again, so is 4-color. But again, my bets are sort of on, definitely, that we'll see shards in this set, which I think a lot of people will really, really like. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty sure that that's what's going to happen. So yeah, according to Mark, I'll leave you with this. Dragons will be a radical departure from cons, and there will be a substantial difference between the two. Not only will it be new and exciting, but it will play very differently than cons. But it will play nicely with the abilities from cons, which shards. Shards could do that pretty easily. I mean, honestly, all of the different abilities that we've seen so far, and the 2 from Dragons, definitely seem like they could play well with the shards and the wedges for different flavor reasons. Now, I think that's probably the end of this theory. That's my 2 cents. That's strictly better MTG. Even if I'm wrong, they've dropped enough cryptic clues to sort of, whatever they come up with will probably be really cool, and I kind of hope that I don't see it coming, but again, fetch lands, Nicol Bolas is in Grixis colors, the legendary dragons, which Rosewater, maybe I will give you one more quote. Rosewater said that the legendary dragons could not be more key to the design of Dragons of Tarkir. Now, when he said legendary dragons, he was talking about the ones in Fate Reforged. He said, get to know these dragons very well, because they are key to the entire block's design. Now, it's kind of interesting, in a block that so far has only cared about enemy-colored wedges, all of these 5 dragons are allied color. Makes a lot of sense. They could just be dragons from either wedge or a shard. Makes a lot of sense, again. And, yeah, I think that's probably going to be all I have to say for now. My prediction is that we will see shards in this next set for a lot of different narrative reasons, a lot of different design reasons, gameplay reasons. So, yeah, if you enjoyed this content, please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment for more insightful MTG commentary. As always, our goal is to make you strictly better. Of course. For Tony Quisenberry and Random Wilson, I'm Devin Randall at Strictly Better MTG. We'll see you next time. Remember that the pre-release is March 21st. We just had a pre-release, and there's already going to be a one on March 21st. It's like 2 months away. So I'm sure that spoilers are going to be coming up soon. and we'll be there to review them. And that's my favorite part of the season. So can't wait to see you guys there, and let us know what you think of this theory down in the comments. Appreciate you for showing up.